Now I'm going to demonstrate a subtraction problem with regrouping using the Unifix cubes. As I said before, the Unifix cubes or the beans are used when the children have not passed the place value test. If they've passed the place value test, you may move to stay with proportional materials, but you may move to the base 10 blocks, which are a little bit more abstract than the Unifix cubes and the beans and the cups. I mean, you don't have to use beans, you know, you can use any kind of object that's small enough to go in a cup. Okay, let's start with the problem 21. I usually do a 20s problem because remember, the idea is not for them to learn how to use every number in the world to subtract. We're just teaching them concept here. So it really doesn't matter as far as, you know, you don't have to go to the 30s or 40s or 50s or whatever. Just stick with 20s and teens, because I think what you'll find is they can still learn the concept, and it's much easier for you to deal with 20s and teens than it is for you to deal with 30s, 40s, 50s, and so on. So, if the problem is 21 minus 18, you ask the children, what do we need to put on our mat? And of course, the obvious answer is the top number, which is 21. So have them count 21 Unifix cubes and put it on the white side of their mat. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And of course, they need to have them all separated on the mat. All right, then the next question you ask them is, do you have enough here to make a 10? And then you let them predict. Then you say how many 10s. Let them predict that. When you make your 10 or your 10s, how many do you think you'll have left over? And then you let them make their 10s trains. All right, I'm going to put this down while I do that. Now, their mat should look like this. I mean, it doesn't matter for subtraction if they put them horizontal or vertically. It really doesn't matter. But they should have their 21 on the mat like this. And as you can see, those are 2 10s trains and 1 in the 1s. Now, I usually like to say, do you still have 21 on your mat? A lot of children, if they don't understand place value, will say no. And you might want to if one child says yes, why don't you see and let them count? Say, well, if you don't think so, you might want to think about this. Did we take any off our mat? Off of our whole mat? No. Did we add any more onto our mat? No. We just moved them over. But let's see. Let's just make sure we see. Or you could let them count first and then do that little discussion. But I'll let them count. And kids who don't understand place value, even though they've made a 10s train, and even though they know that 10 and 10 is 20, they still have to count and let them do it. Okay? So they've got 21. Now you say to the children, what are we going to take away first? And what you want to do is, you may have to tell them this. You may have to say, we always take away our 1 side first, okay? So we want to take away our 8 1s. Then you say, look on the 1 side of your mat. Do you have enough here to take away 8 of them? And of course they're going to say no. And then you say, where on your mat could you find some more? Now say, over here on the blue side. That is right. But the rule is, if it's on the blue side and you want to use them on the white side, you have to take the 10s train apart and move it all on the one side. And before they begin to tear it apart, what you want to say is, when we move our 10 Unifix cubes and break them apart and move them over here to the white side, how many ones do you think we will have then? And have them discuss that and predict. Okay, we've got to tear each one of them apart. All right. Obviously now, how many do you have on the one side now? And you want the kids to count them, and they'll say 11. Then you go over here. Now remember, we're trying to get them to understand how to use the symbols so that eventually they won't have to have the materials. So it's always important to record every step as they do it, not at the end. So you want to put 11 up here, and then how many tens trains do they still have? They don't have 2 tens trains anymore, they just have 1. Now 1 tens train and 11 ones, do we still have 21 on the mat? Ask them that question. If they don't believe that they do, let them count. And then divert their attention, or move their attention back to the problem and say, all right, now can we take away our 8 ones? Look on the one side of the mat. Do we have enough to take away the 8 ones? And obviously they do, and say, okay, take them off your mat. 1, make them sure they take them way off the mat, because it's going to get confusing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many do you have left? 3. So then you go back to the problem and you write 3. How many tens trains are we going to take off the mat? 1. Take a whole tens trains off. 1 whole 10 train. And how many tens trains do we have left? Nothing. And we usually don't put a 0 in front like this. So what is our answer? 21, take away 18, or minus 18 is 3. Do you have 3 on your mat? Count and see. Yes.